Hey everyone, ready to explore the world of tour leading?
Yeah, it's a pretty fascinating field.
For sure. We've got tons of resources here, articles like Become a Group Leader, personal stories from pros and Wanderlust, and even some advice from Verge magazine.
Sounds like we've got a pretty good mix to work with.
Definitely. And our mission today, right, is to figure out if this dream career is really all it's cracked up to be.
I think a lot of people romanticize the idea of, getting paid to travel.
Oh, for sure. But we're going deeper than that.
Exactly. What does it really take to be successful? What are the skills, the challenges, the rewards? What should you know before taking the leap?
Right, like, is it really all cocktails on the beach?
If only. One thing that really jumps out from these articles is the constant reminder that tour leading is, well, a job.
A job, yeah.
Yeah, not a perpetual vacation.
Even though it might seem that way from the outside.
Right. And Wanderlust, they actually compare it to, get this, Groundhog Day.
Groundhog.
Yeah, think about it. You're often repeating similar itineraries, dealing with similar situations.
Oh, okay, I see.
And you're on 24/7.
Wow, that puts things in perspective.
It really does. So that analogy, that Groundhog Day thing, it highlights the need for a certain mindset. You have to have genuine passion for this. And you have to be able to find the unique aspects of each experience.
Even if you're doing, like, the same basic route.
Exactly. Otherwise, burnout, that can become a real problem.
It makes you wonder how those seasoned tour leaders we read about, how do they do it day after day? What's the secret?
Well, we'll definitely dig into that later. But first, let's talk about something else. The sheer variety of tour leading roles out there. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Oh, yeah.
We've got articles about leading overland truck adventures across continents.
Wow.
Guiding challenging Himalayan climbs.
That sounds intense.
And even hosting relaxing wine tours in Tuscany.
Okay, that's more my speed, I think.
So before you even think about packing your bags, right, you need to figure out what kind of experience you are drawn to.
Makes sense.
Because a center-based holiday, where you're stationed in one spot with day trips, that requires a different approach than, say, leading a multi-week trek through the Amazon rainforest.
Oh, absolutely. Big difference there.
It's huge. So it's not just about the destination.
It's about the style of travel?
Yeah, and the level of responsibility you're comfortable with.
I hadn't thought about it like that before.
So do you thrive on adrenaline and pushing boundaries? Or do you prefer a slower pace with more of a focus on cultural immersion?
It's a good question to ask yourself before jumping into this.
For sure. And here's a fascinating twist, okay?
Okay.
Many tour leaders, and this is straight from the articles, they say the most rewarding part of the job isn't even the travel itself.
Seriously?
Yeah, can you believe that?
That's kind of surprising.
I know, right? But when you delve into their stories, you start to understand.
Well,
The real magic, it happens in those human connections.
I see.
It's about building relationships with locals, sharing your knowledge and passion with your group,
That makes sense.
and witnessing those aha moments when someone truly connects with a place or a culture.
So it's not just showing people the sights.
No, it's more than that. It's about creating meaningful experiences.
That's a great way to put it.
And those experiences, they're often shaped by the unexpected challenges that arise along the way. Remember that story, I think it was in Verge magazine, about Don Forster?
Don Forster, remind me.
The tour leader whose engine seized in the middle of Chiapas, Mexico.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that one. That was crazy.
High pressure situation for sure.
Talk about a curveball.
Yeah, but that story, it illustrates the need for resourcefulness and adaptability.
I got to think on your feet.
Exactly. You're not just a guide.
You're a problem solver.
Yeah, a mediator, a logistics expert, sometimes even a therapist.
Wow. Sounds like you need a whole toolbox of skills to thrive in this role.
You really do. And it's not just about practical skills either.
Oh, right. What else?
There's also the emotional resilience needed to be away from loved ones for extended periods.
That's a good point.
You're constantly navigating new environments, dealing with all kinds of personalities, and handling those unexpected hiccups, with grace.
It sounds exhilarating, but also pretty exhausting.
Definitely both. And that brings us to another key theme that emerged from these articles, the always-on mentality.
Always on.
Yeah, Greg Coe, the jungle tour leader, he put it perfectly. He said, you can never switch off.
Wow, that's intense.
It is. So it's not a job for those who crave downtime or predictability.
No, sounds like you're constantly engaging.
Exactly. Anticipating needs, ensuring the safety and enjoyment of your group.
It's a demanding role, but I can see how it would be incredibly rewarding.
Oh, absolutely. But let's get practical for a second, okay?
Okay.
How do you actually land a job in this field? What are these tour companies looking for?
Great question.
Well, most of our sources actually emphasize people skills over sheer travel experience.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised too.
So it's not just about how many countries you visited.
Not necessarily. Of course, having explored different parts of the world is valuable, but companies are really looking for individuals who can connect with people,
Okay.
manage groups effectively, and handle challenging situations with grace.
That makes sense. You could be the most well-traveled person on the planet, but if you can't communicate effectively, build rapport,
Right, or navigate interpersonal dynamics.
then you're probably not going to be very successful.
No, not at all. Remember Nick Nikolsky's story from Wanderlust?
Refresh my memory.
He found his calling through a simple ad and ended up leading his first trip in Slovakia.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that.
So it highlights the importance of being open to opportunity, and willing to step outside your comfort zone.
That's pretty inspiring.
It is. Sounds like taking a leap of faith can lead to discovering your passion.
It can. But what about practical advice?
Yeah, good point.
What concrete steps can someone take to break into this field?
Well, a lot of those seasoned tour leaders, they recommend volunteering.
Volunteer.
Yeah, or taking a trip with a tour company.
To see how it's done.
Right. It's a great way to get a behind-the-scenes look at the day-to-day realities of the job, observe those experienced guides in action, and, ask questions.
So like an internship for aspiring tour leaders.
You got it. You get to test the waters, see if it's truly a good fit.
Right.
And it's not just about observing, it's about actively participating.
Okay.
Ask questions, offer to help, and soak up as much knowledge as you can. You might even get valuable feedback and mentorship from those experienced guides.
That's invaluable. But what about specialized skills? Do you need certifications? Language fluency? A degree in tourism, maybe?
Those things can be helpful, for sure. But most of our sources emphasize the importance of transferable skills. Strong communication, problem-solving abilities, adaptability, cultural sensitivity.
Those are all super valuable.
They are. And they're highly valued regardless of your background.
So it's not just about checking boxes on a resume.
No, it's about showcasing your personality, your passion, and your ability to connect with people from all walks of life.
Okay, so like who you are is just as important as what you know.
Exactly. And remember, specific skills, those can be learned, but genuine passion is harder to cultivate.
That's a point.
Think about Haley Shepard, the expedition leader in Antarctica. Her love for that region, it shines through in everything she does.
She really does seem to love it there.
It's inspiring to see how each of these tour leaders found their niche. Haley's connection to those polar landscapes, Greg Koh's dedication to rainforest conservation. They've combined their passions with their skills to create fulfilling careers.
That's awesome.
Their stories, they underscore the importance of exploring your own interests and strengths.
It's all about figuring out what excites you.
Exactly. What knowledge or experience do you have that you'd love to share with others? How can you turn that passion into a career as a tour leader?
That's a great question to think about.
It is. So if you could lead a tour anywhere in the world, combining your passions and expertise, where would it be? What story would you tell? Think about that for a moment.
That's a good one. We'll come back to those questions later, though, right?
Yeah, we will. But first, let's dig a little deeper into the nitty-gritty of tour leading. What does it really take to excel in this profession? What are those must-have skills, the hidden challenges, the secrets to navigating tricky situations?
Ooh, I like where this is going.
Yeah, it gets really interesting. And that's exactly where we'll pick up in part 2 of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're back and ready to dig a little deeper into this whole tour leading thing.
Yeah, we've talked about the realities, the different types of tours, the skills you need.
And that always-on mentality.
Right. Constantly being present, anticipating needs, dealing with the unexpected.
Which, let's be real, is probably going to happen a lot.
Oh, absolutely. But that's part of the adventure.
Totally.
Hey.
So let's talk more about those essential skills that set successful tour leaders apart. What makes someone really good at this?
Well, one that comes up all the time in these articles is organizational skills.
Okay. That makes
And
sense.
it's more than just, keeping itineraries straight, making sure everyone's on the right bus.
Right.
It's about anticipating problems, having backup plans.
Oh, I see.
Being able to juggle a million things at once, especially when things go off script.
Which they inevitably will.
Yeah.
I mean, remember Don Forster's story?
Oh, with the engine trouble in Mexico.
Yeah. He had to become a mechanic on the spot.
Talk about resourceful.
Seriously, you need to be adaptable in this job.
Absolutely. You're wearing so many hats, constantly switching gears, making decisions on the fly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's a good point in the group leader's role about setting clear expectations with your group right from the start. Explain that, hey, things might not always go as planned.
Especially when you're traveling abroad.
Exactly. So transparency and clear communication can really go a long way in building trust.
And managing expectations, because people come into these trips with all sorts of ideas.
They do. But even with the best planning, things are bound to go wrong. So how do those experienced tour leaders, how do they handle those curveballs?
Yeah, that's the real test.
It is. And that's where those, soft skills come in.
Soft skills.
Yeah, like empathy, patience, a genuine interest in people, and a knack for conflict resolution.
Oh, right, because you're dealing with people all the time.
Exactly. Remember what Nick Nikolsky said? Be a people person.
He wasn't kidding. You're constantly interacting with your group, answering questions, maybe mediating a little dispute here and there.
And sometimes just lending a listening ear. It's not just about the logistics, it's about managing those interpersonal dynamics.
No, for sure.
Like Haley Shepard pointed out, every group is different.
Right?
You might have seasoned travelers in the mix alongside folks taking their first trip abroad.
So different comfort levels, different expectations.
Exactly. Each person brings their own, anxieties, travel styles. It's a lot to balance.
It's like you're conducting an orchestra of personalities.
Huh. I like that. Making sure everyone feels heard and respected, but still keeping the group moving forward.
As a unit, which probably takes a lot of skill.
It does. It's a balancing act between leadership and facilitation.
Yeah.
You're creating an environment where people feel comfortable, supported, empowered to explore.
And communication is key, right?
Absolutely. You need to be clear, concise, and engaging, whether you're explaining the history of a site, sharing safety instructions, or just telling a captivating story.
Right.
It's finding that sweet spot between informative and entertaining. You want to pique their curiosity, ignite their imagination.
And leave a lasting impression.
Exactly. And sometimes that means thinking on your feet, injecting a bit of humor into the situation.
Oh, like Carrie Pretorius and that whole caribou stew incident?
Yes. She turned a potentially awkward moment into a funny story with her quick wit.
It's a good reminder that laughter can really diffuse tension.
Absolutely. But her story also highlights adaptability. Things will go wrong, plans change, and you have to be able to roll with it. Adjust your itinerary, keep a positive attitude.
Even when facing unexpected challenges, which, some are bigger than others.
Right. A delayed flight is one thing, but what about a medical emergency? Or natural disaster? Things can get serious.
Oh, yeah.
That's why preparation and risk management are so important. Become a group leader really emphasizes that. Having emergency protocols in place, knowing your route inside and out.
And understanding the potential hazards of your destination.
Right. And having a well-stocked first aid kit, knowing how to use it. You're responsible for the safety and well-being of your group.
It's a big responsibility.
It is. And it's not just about physical safety either.
But what else?
It's about cultivating a sense of psychological safety too. Your group needs to trust you. They need to feel confident in your abilities, know that you have their back.
No matter what.
No matter what. It's like you're a shepherd guiding your flock through those breathtaking vistas, but also through the occasional storm.
Making sure they feel secure and supported every step of the way. I love that analogy.
Thanks. And speaking of breathtaking vistas, we can't forget about passion and enthusiasm.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember what Greg Coe said? You can't fake genuine interest. Your excitement, it's contagious.
It really is. Think about Haley Shepard and her love for Antarctica.
Yeah.
Or Carrie Pretorius' passion for sharing the wonders of Southern Africa. That's what makes those trips unforgettable.
It's about bringing those destinations to life, revealing those hidden gems, inspiring others to embark on their own adventures.
And that brings us back to those questions we asked earlier. What excites you? Where would you lead a tour? What story would you tell?
Exactly. It's all about finding your niche. And that's where we'll pick up in part 3 of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're back, ready to wrap up our tour-leading deep dive.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. The realities, the skills, the challenges.
And now it's time for the fun part, right?
Yeah.
Figuring out where you fit into this whole world of travel experiences.
Exactly. It's not just picking a cool destination. It's about tapping into what truly excites you. what unique knowledge or experience you have that you just can't wait to share.
It's like finding that perfect puzzle piece,
Yeah.
the one that fits your skills, your passions, and what travelers are actually looking for.
I love that. And there are so many different puzzles out there, so many ways to create amazing travel experiences. Say you're a history buff, right?
Okay, yeah.
And you've got a knack for languages, leading cultural tours through Europe, digging into the stories behind those ancient ruins. That could be your thing.
Or maybe you're all about adventure, pushing boundaries, leading a trek through the Himalayas, whitewater rafting in Costa Rica, that kind of thing.
And remember, you don't have to have been a globetrotter since childhood to be successful. Think about Nick Nikolsky, right?
Yeah, he found his passion kind of by chance.
Exactly. Sometimes it's about taking a chance, trying something new. He answered an ad, and look at him now.
It's inspiring, for sure. And even if you don't jump right into leading tours, Greg Coe had some good advice. Don't be afraid to start small. Volunteering, assisting guides, maybe even shadowing a tour.
All great ways to gain experience and figure out what you like.
And the learning never really stops, does it?
Nope. Every trip, every interaction, every little detour is a chance to grow. It's about more than just accumulating facts. It's deepening your understanding of the places, the people, the cultures you encounter.
Makes you think of Haley Shepard and her work in Antarctica. She's not just showing people penguins, she wants them to really connect with that environment.
Exactly, to feel awe, respect for the planet. And that sense of purpose, that desire to make a positive impact, we saw it in so many of the tour leaders we read about.
It's about more than just checking things off a bucket list.
Right. It's about creating meaningful experiences for people. And let's not forget the pure joy of sharing your passion. Like Carrie Pretorius talking about African wildlife, or Dawn Forster navigating those back roads in Latin America. Their enthusiasm, it's contagious.
It really is. That energy is what makes those trips so special.
Exactly. It's about bringing those destinations to life, showing people those hidden gems, inspiring them to go on their own adventures.
That's a great way to put it.
So as we wrap this up, think back to those questions we asked earlier. What excites you? Where would you lead a tour? What story would you tell?
Yeah, what lights that fire in you?
Don't be afraid to dream big. Explore different options. Talk to people who are already doing this. See where your curiosity leads you. The world is out there waiting to be discovered. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one guiding others through its wonders.
And even if tour leading isn't the path for you right now, I think we've all learned some valuable things from this deep dive.
Absolutely. These insights apply to anyone who loves to travel, explore, connect with new cultures.
So keep exploring, keep learning, keep that adventurous spirit alive. And hey, maybe our paths will cross on a tour someday.
Safe travels and happy exploring.